So now let's discuss the special moves in chess. The special moves in chess are castling and in passing. You may ask, what exactly is castling? Castling is a defensive move performed between the king and the rook of either side. If it is performed with the rook of the king side, it is known as king side castling. If it is performed with the rook of the queen side, then it is known as queen side castling. So how do you perform the castling? You may ask now. For performing castling, you need to remember four things. Those are that there should be no pieces in between the king and the rook with which you want to perform castling. Number two is that your king should not be in a check while you want to perform castling. For example, if a position is like this and the black bishop is giving a check to the white king, then you cannot perform castling immediately. First, you have to block this check, and only then in the next move you can perform castling. The third thing you have to keep in mind is that your king or the rook with which you want to perform castling should not have ever moved in the game. If it has ever moved in the game, you cannot perform castling with that rook. The fourth thing that you need to remember is that no opponent piece should be blocking the way in which your king wants to castle. For example, if this bishop is placed here, this bishop is guarding the square with which your king would perform castling. Your king would want to go here and then here to perform castling, and this bishop is guarding this square. So the white king can never perform castling like this. So after learning these four things, now how do you perform castling? For performing castling, your king, if wants to perform kingside castling, moves two squares to the right and the rook comes to the opposite side. For performing queenside castling, the king again moves two squares to the left and the rook comes to the opposite side. So this is queenside castling. So now let's move on to the next special move, and that is in passant. In passant is a special pawn move. Usually the pawn only has the ability to capture diagonally, like this, diagonally one square. But in passant is a special pawn capture ability given to the pawn. It happens like this. For example, if the black pawn is placed here and the white player plays two moves in front, only then can the in passant occur. And remember, in passant can only be performed in that move, meaning if the player playing the black pieces waits one move, for example he plays this and the white opponent plays this, then in passant cannot be performed in this move. In the same way, if the white pawn is placed here and the black pawn and the player playing the black pieces makes this move, then in passant can be performed in this move.